Comments from the Physical Sciences panel.
Hello, my name is Miles Paget from the School of Physics and Astronomy at the University of Glasgow in the UK. I am the convener of the Physical Sciences panel for RAE 2020.
Hello, I'm Mike Ashfold. I'm a professor of physical chemistry at the University of Bristol in England, and I'm deputy convener of the Physical Sciences panel. Miles and I both have significant experience of research assessment exercises of this kind in the UK.
The Physical Sciences panel had 37 members, most drawn from across Europe and the US. The panel covered 5 subject units of assessment, spanning more than 1,800 research outputs, 42 impact case studies, and 24 environmental submissions submitted by 486 academic staff from 7 universities.
Are the universities performing well in the RAE 2020?
The panel judged that all disciplines included in the physical science admission contained elements that were comparable with the very best in the world. The inclusion of research impact was new to this cycle of the Hong Kong research assessment. Research impact goes beyond applied research. Impact is regarded as a change to business and/or society that is a result of the research, irrespective of the initial motivation of the research itself. Judging by the impact case studies submitted to the Physical Sciences panel, it was clear that this distinction was understood by the Hong Kong community.
The panel saw clear examples of impacts that were global, for example, in terms of new products, and of others that were more regionally focused, for example, impact on government policy, both of which were valued and scored highly by the panel. The results demonstrate that research in the physical sciences in Hong Kong is in a healthy and robust state. The assessment confirms that research in the physical sciences is stronger on an international scale than that in most countries with a similar sized population, and comparable in quality to research being undertaken in many larger European and North American countries.
What are the strengths of the 8 UGC-funded universities?
Looking at the average scores of each subject UOA within the physical sciences remit, the assessment might suggest that materials science and materials technology are particularly vibrant activities across universities in Hong Kong. The submitted work covered a broad range of material disciplines, some of it clearly world-leading. However, the panel noted that this strength was not uniquely associated with the research in material science and material technology departments, but rather reflected world-class materials research across the whole of the physical sciences, including, for example, within and beyond chemistry and physics departments.
Time precludes anything other than a cursory skim through many highlights. Within my own discipline, chemistry, the panel identified obvious strength in the design, synthesis, and application of luminescent biomolecular and cellular probes. These studies showed impressive breadth, spanning molecular synthesis, both organic and inorganic, photophysical characterization, experimental and theoretical, and studies in vitro, in living cells, and in whole organisms. Like many other studies shared with the panel, these outputs demonstrated collaborations between disciplines, chemists with, for example, biomedical scientists and clinicians.
I highlight the very strong thematic contribution to the international effort in photovoltaics for green energy. This work stretches across several UOAs and is internationally competitive and is probably an area where Hong Kong has interdisciplinary critical mass.
Panel members specializing in earth and environmental sciences commended a body of exceptional work, much of it in the context of regional priorities, as is appropriate for this discipline.
Our mathematics colleagues highlighted internationally significant research in the theory of nonlinear partial differential equations in the context of geometry and continuum mechanics. and in the theoretical numerical analysis, which underpins computational mathematics. Control theory and decision-making with applications in, for example, insurance and finance was also recognized as areas of strength. Internationally competitive outputs embracing the most important aspects of mainstream statistics were also highlighted.
How can the universities strive for further excellence?
The panel was particularly pleased to see the growing engagement of Hong Kong academics in big science areas like astronomy and particle physics. It's only possible to make an impact on such large international projects if the Hong Kong institutions work together. And the Areas of Excellence scheme has provided a good framework for such cooperation. One option moving forward might be to focus on a few specific areas and potentially play a bigger leadership role within the international effort.
In preparing impact case studies, it's important to distinguish the underpinning research from the activity taken to exploit it, from the impact that this has created. Specifically, some case studies explain clearly what activity had been undertaken, but were less clear when it came to providing evidence of the subsequent impacts. Such evidence can be quantitative, for example, sales achieved, but can also be qualitative, for example, surveys or quotes from those impacted upon. In all cases, it is this evidence of the claimed impacts that the panel sought, valued, and scored most highly.
In relation to the research strategies, the panel was mindful of the fact that all such documentation was drafted and submitted prior to the current COVID crisis, and that future investment and strategic plans detailed in the environment statements might well need adjusted once the full financial implications of the crisis becomes clear. To conclude, the Physical Sciences panel judged that the investment in the physical sciences in Hong Kong had been very well justified by the quality of the outputs, impact, and environment statements that were assessed. Moving forward, it is important that Hong Kong keeps abreast of and indeed contributes to sector trends and challenges, such as those associated with the diversity of the workforce and global trends in the fair assessment of research.
Finally, we cannot end without commending the Hong Kong University Grants Committee RAE team for establishing the framework to undertake a detailed and comprehensive review under the difficult circumstances of the COVID-19 pandemic. In the panel's view, the process was professional, rigorous, and resourced appropriately to achieve an outcome in which the Hong Kong research community and the international community can have confidence.